City of Angels is black and gold. You are listening to the Heart of LAFC podcast. And now, Joseph Zacher.
Greetings, Los Angeles. Welcome to episode 290 of the Heart of LAFC podcast. I'm going to call this one Keep Moving. Welcome, everybody. Of course, we've got the full measure. The crew is here. Araceli, Bam, Tony in his Laker jersey. We're coming on right as that game's wrapping up. Looks like good news for all. Congratulations, Laker fans. Looks like you fight another day and I guess move on. It's good news. Good news overall. One more to go, yes. Yeah, dig it. Not like what the Kings did, right? Yeah, but you got it. You got it going. Bam, how are you doing, sir?
Doing all right. A bit chilly, so I got my Chewbacca hoodie on at the moment. Getting into winter and got this cold ass breeze coming in at the moment, so we're freezing our butts off, but going all right.
He's doing a late Star Wars Day thing. I get it. It's cool. Araceli, how are you doing?
I'm actually doing really well. It's been a very busy day, but I mean, what can we expect, especially with everything coming up? And of course, I have to mention it real quick. I don't know if you guys knew, but Sporting KC finally won a game over the weekend. It's a freaking miracle.
Congratulations. So, yes.
If it makes anyone feel better, they at least took down the Sounders. And we all know how we feel about Seattle. So there's that.
It was in a good weekend to be one of the top teams. I mean, I think that's just, where we're at. And honestly, anything to help a certain team find their way to the basement, I'm all for it. It's all good with me. I wish these other bottom dwellers wouldn't be firing their coaches because they're not helping in this process. But, it is what it is. Good things, that's for sure, except for our result. But if the top guns ahead of us, kind of sort of ahead of us, are falling, it gives us another opening. We'll take that. Tony, I can tell you're a very happy man at the moment, at least in the moment. I have a feeling we're going to be raging a little bit later, but how are you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty well. Excited. I'm kind of upset with the way we played and also the decisions that we're making for the upcoming game. But overall, doing really well. Excited for, as these people not listening, I'm wearing my Lakers Christmas jersey for Russell. So I'm happy at the moment. It hasn't shown up full time right now at the thing, so it's 101 and 104. So hopefully we won. Goddamn it, internet faster.
I think it's hilarious that he said, did he say the final whistle? Did he at the death? What did he say there? It was very much a soccer term, but yeah, we get you, man. We get you, dude. Yeah, again, there it is. We don't have to tell you the score. Tony just kind of gave you the vibe. So there it is. They get the win. It's now official. All right. Now I can stick to football. Yeah, there we go. All right. So
still 1.7 seconds left to play. Game's not over yet.
Basketball never ends. Okay.
No, it said final on the freaking ESPN app. I don't care. You're in the future. I don't give a
future news. All right. Well, all right. Back to it. We're losing the episode. There we are. Back to us. All right. So we've got busy news, of course. We got to talk about our first defeat of the year. The other busy news we got to talk about, of course, is the Open Cup. And we will talk about RSL down the line. We're going to have another episode for that one. But we're also going to give you guys a bit of a CCL update because our opponent had an issue this weekend, a lot worse than ours. And so let's get right into it. We did play the Earthquakes on the weekend. Congratulations to everybody that traveled out. It was a massive crew out there, big stadium. Finally they get to place in the big house. You guys showed up, so good on all of you. I know you didn't get the chartered buses this time. Even more good on you guys for finding your own ways out there. Again, good stuff there. That was the bright spot of the day, and beyond that, not much else I would say would be bright. Looking at the lineups, it wasn't too much of a shock. We were actually, I think all of us really happy to see who we had on the lineup. We had Vela up top, Bogusz, Boanga. Happy, right? Sanchez, Tillman, and Cifuentes. I know. Palacios, Long, Maldonado, and Palencia. Clearly the back line, center back situation, we're still dealing with some health issues there, so that made sense. Of course, McCarthy got his moment. Now, interesting thing, we did mention that San Jose does play a little more on the front foot these days and is willing to go toe-to-toe. They are a much improved team. Their lineup, also the 4-3-3, Ababise was up top, Espinosa and Cal were your wingers. Grueso in the middle with Yuel and Montero. Backline was Rodriguez, Mensa, right back Marie, and Trauco. Marcinkowski was back in goal. Of course he was. Again, these were the best lineups in the moment outside of maybe the Cifuentes decision. But let's be honest, historically, that was our best lineup. And so no excuses, right? Both came in strong. Bam, your thoughts on the lineup?
I thought it was a good lineup. Obviously, with the injuries in the defense and all that, having to rest some players, I thought that was the best that we could go with, especially with the defense. Knew Bogic was just going to start again over Opoku, with Bouanga and Sifa up top. Those three are starting to gel together. So I was looking really confident going into this game.
Especially after the result against Philly. You were thinking there's momentum here. It could work itself out. Story might be a little bit different, right, Tony? Let's get right into it. I know we don't want to dwell too long on the highlights, but we'll definitely dwell on the analysis. How did the game break down, sir?
So overall, we ended up losing our first loss of the season, as we've been saying this whole time. Kind of glad we got over it, because who knows how long the pressure is to keep going undefeated. I would have loved it, but we need to learn from a loss and move forward, because you can only learn so much from a win. And with that said, I'm just going to breeze through the quick highlights, and then we'll just analyze the game afterwards. So 8th minute, goal by San Jose by, of course, the person we always talk about, Espinosa. Right-footed shot in the center box, the defense let him be wide open for the pass and everything like that. We responded pretty much 22 minutes later at the 30th minute. Goal by Denise Bouanga, with pretty much a poacher's goal. And the best way to say it. It was off a rebound. Bouanga was in the right spot, able to hit it out. And then I'm just going to skip into the second half. This up to debate. Your referee will call referee. I wish they would to VAR on it. There's a penalty on the penalty foul in the box, and goal by Espinosa in the right foot. McCarthy guessed wrong. If he guessed right, he probably would have had it, but he jumped the wrong way, and ended up being 2-1 them, and they celebrated like they won the cup. So let's just be out of it, and honestly, let's just get into the analysis of it, and I'll just start with you, Joseph, because you can break it down better than most people can.
I would hope, but I mean, Bam over here he's been an MVP this year. Let's be honest. I'll say this: the goal, the penalty was legit. I'm not going to debate it. I don't think it's worth debating. If you go in on a player, you try to reach the ball, and you don't make contact, guess what? You're going to get called for a penalty. That's just how it is. You impeded the player. What a shock. Maldonado did get caught on this play. I thought he was going to get there. In live action, I'm like, what? Wait, I thought he did. I thought he did right. But yeah, the minute you saw the replay, you were like, yeah, he's dead to rights. So that's unfortunate. And it did cost us the game, because an 83rd minute penalty will cost you the game. That's not something you usually come back from. It's just, that's life. That's life. Other than that, it's nice to see Denny Bouanga still running through everything, as he always does. It's what you're taught from an early age, right? The goalie has to make the save, but you also have to keep him honest. And that's exactly what he did. I would expect more from their goalkeeper, to be honest with you guys. That is on the keeper. Okay. He has to own that. It wasn't a good enough rebound, you could say. And the first goal, yeah, the guys weren't ready for prime time. I think would be the easiest way to say that. In terms of the match, it was forgettable. I think that would be my best analysis of this match, is just there was something missing. There's an edge missing. The legs finally, for the first time this year, really looked tired. I think we saw some wear and tear show this game. Yes, there were some changes in the line as necessary. But yes, there was that little extra gear that we always have. It wasn't presenting itself this game, and it was tough. I would also throw in the substitutions. My take on that, of course, a lot were mad about the substitutions. Why are you taking Vela? Why are you taking Ilie? Why are you taking this? And I would say this: is this one battle for 3 points more important than the battle for the Champions League? What's more important to you? Because it was very obvious to me that everybody was playing on minutes here. Everyone had a time limit. Everyone and the subs had their minutes too to get their minutes in. It seemed very much about it, right? Is basically we're going through the motions. Horrible to say. We have to limit minutes. Whatever you do the best you can in the moments that you have, but you're going to be coming out. You saw the way the players reacted coming off. Not a lot of protest. Let's be honest. Was there a lot? No, because I think it was the expectation going in is this is what you're going to do. Do the best you can in that moment. We got to move on. We have bigger and better things to deal with. And I know it's a rival. I get it. Bam, your analysis of the match, you probably saw it better than I could. Go for it, man.
For the first 30 minutes, I was actually listening to it in the car because I was on my way to work before I got a phone call saying, hey, enjoy your day off work. So I got to go home and catch it. So I listened to the first 30 minutes in the car. After that, watching us play, it felt a little bit like Philadelphia away in the CCL. We just didn't really turn up too much. We weren't there. We weren't how we normally are, per se. And that could easily come down to we're getting tired. Plain and simple, we are getting tired. We've played so many games so far, and we are getting tired. So with that, like, for me, it was more, can we get out of here with a point and stay undefeated and just get out of Dodge? Because, we need to have some rest. We need to have some recovery. I think the biggest surprise for me was that we came home after this game. Why didn't we just stay up around the Bay Area?
$1 billion club doesn't want to pay for hotels. I don't know.
Well, you can write it off as a team bonding experience.
I mean, Monterey is a nice place to hang out. Go to the aquarium. Enjoy your time. It's a beautiful place. Just saying. But that didn't happen. They came home. I think we'll talk about the next match and how that's lining up. I think the plan was set. The next one is the focus. I think the only thing they were concerned about is that everybody was walking on their own 2 feet getting out of that place. Right? Nobody got cracked against San Jose, which they tend to do to us. Nobody came up with a knock. Guys that were rested got their rest. Guys that played their minutes got enough. They're ready to move on. Tired legs survive. Again, they see more than we do in the lead up to these. Obviously, something was up, right? The minutes are showing. They probably saw it in training too. And this is what you got. And it stinks, right? All of us sacrificing this money to go up there, time. You want to see the best of the best from our guys all the time. But I think the human element took its toll here. Araceli, your thoughts?
I'll say this. Right after that penalty, I kind of missed the last 10 minutes. So I can't really speak to that. But aside from it, I mean, I agree with you. The goal was good. The penalty was good, as much as you didn't want to see it. Because I know we literally just said this, and it's something that we have been saying for the last couple of weeks. Fatigue is really starting to catch up with the boys, and you could definitely see that in this match. And it's something that I kind of quote unquote fear moving forward, because tomorrow we have Monterey. This weekend or this Saturday, they'll be in Salt Lake. Next Wednesday, hosting a match. It's just kind of, when do they get a break?
They don't, right?
But otherwise, I mean, look, at the end of the day, you want to see the boys do well. You don't want to ever see them drop points. And maybe this might be a hot take, but I'd rather them drop points now than not in October when it matters the most.
Yes, and thank you for bringing up the October conversation, because I think ESPN had an article about this, of how LAFC is bucking the trend by being hot early, and the model in MLS is to not be hot early, to kind of go 500, figure things out, and then get hot in August and September. And so there's already articles saying, is there a concern here that they're peaking too quick? Which, to me, no, you're peaking for another tournament, right? We need to peak for Champions League. Okay. That is our focus And now, and when we talk about the next match, now you can see that, right? League is league. We've won supporter shields. Been there, done that. It's not the be all and end all because we've had them already. Open Cup, let's be real. It's kind of like the NIT, right? In college basketball. Like you all want the MLS Cup, but if your year's not that great, there's your alternative to get something to grab onto, right? Look at the teams who've won it lately. It's the alternate trophy. It is. Should it be that way? No, but because of crazy schedule, it's being forced into that. And again, we'll get into that more. But that's, Araceli, you're right on that. It's end of year. It's how you finish, not how you start. And so you got to accept your battles, choose your battles wisely. Tony, I know you're ready. You're ready to rip on this thing. You have the floor, man. Tell us your thoughts on this one.
Okay, at first, before the news broke out, when we come into what's going to happen next game, because we'll talk about it, I was like, all right, we're resting. We may pay some young players on this game. If you're not going to choose this as a marquee matchup in Levi Stadium, fine. We'll drop the points. But I'm going to have to say this. Sifu needs to go to LAFC 2 to get his head straight on, because I don't know where he is. He's mentally checked. He's mentally he's costing. Like he's not there anymore. He's not the Sifu that we loved and the Sifu that was going to be sold to the Premiership. I don't even know if that's going to happen if he keeps doing what he's doing. So maybe, Araceli, is it possible to send a senior team member to the LAFC 2 for a couple games?
Oh, it's very possible. It's already been happening for a couple of teams for the last couple of weeks.
All right, so I'll say right here, maybe just send him right there to, just get some kinks out, to get some just like passes, some actual game day. Like, yes, the competition is not the greatest, but help them get their first win, and maybe you can get your confidence to get that. On top of that, it was also lack of defense there was no general in back. You know what I mean? Usually with someone's there to hold down the back, and I feel there was a lot of lost things there. Up front, my concerns, no finishing, and if it's not Bouanga, then who else? And that's pretty much all my takes on that one.
Right, and when they finally were getting momentum, that's when the substitutions kicked in, right? For me, when I knew I was concerned the minute Buick came on the field. Sorry, Buick. Gonna call him Buick. Reminding me of a not so reliable car. It is what it is. When Vela came out, I was kind of like, oh, okay, I see what we're doing now, and I'm not happy, but I get it. Same with Bogus coming out for Opoku, but Opoku did earn it. I mean, he did play well the game before, so you got to give him on that. And then the Hollingshead for Palacios was kind of a given. You figured on that one. Acosta for Sanchez, yeah. I mean, let's be honest. Sanchez has played way too many minutes you would expect for a player his age. So yeah, again, this is obviously a game where we were like, if we can get it, we can get it. If we don't, well, we'll move on. We'll live with it. I don't like it, right? It ain't great, but I get it. I totally get it. All right. So, any last thoughts before I throw this into our supporters? We got a couple comments out there I want to jump on to.
Yeah. So, seeing that it is a regular season game for us, my votes for this game, I put Bouanga as 3 votes, Tillman as 2 votes, and I thought the best in the defense was Palacio, so I gave him 1 vote.
Ooh, Tony?
This one's a little bit harder, honestly. Bouanga, top.
It's tough, I know.
I would say Maldonado, but the penalty did not help him, so I'll put him as the last one. I'll give him a point because he did perform pretty well. And then Acosta, I don't know. We'll give it to Acosta, just holding down. I don't even know.
The second half sub. Tony was not happy. Can you tell? Araceli, your top 3.
This is tough. I'll go with Tony says because I'm blanking over here.
I know. So she has seeded 2 of her 3 picks. That is official. There you go. I'll throw this out there. Bouanga obviously was our number 1 star. No question. He did the job. I'm gonna throw it to Tillman because it wasn't like Tillman was doing anything wrong out there. He was still holding his own, doing his job. Things didn't finish the way they wanted, but he was still present, right? Still active. And I think to me, yeah, that's where it gets tough. I would say Sanchez because until Sanchez went out, I think we were the one that was going to win this game. I think somehow, some way, we'd find a way. And then when he came out, it kind of was the end of that. It wasn't going to happen, and you could tell the drop off was instant. So those are my 3. No bummer 3, but there you go.
Yeah,
no shot.
but it's quite interesting because I've got football up at the moment. Both Tillman and Ilie had a 92% accurate passing.
Yeah. They did their jobs.
And Sifu had an 80%, which it seems higher than what I thought.
But that's low for him historically.
Yeah.
It's down. We're like, oh, he got an 8. Dude, he's actually used to doing what, 87, 88?
Oh, 100%. But looking at it, I thought 80% is actually high for the way he played that game.
Yeah, it's choppy. For sure. Still making runs, but choppy. Yeah. All right, let's get to some reactions from everybody. Let's see where everybody's heads are at right now. I know our first loss of the year. I get it. But at least we can bounce back. We'll see. All right, let's see where we're at here. Mark Lopez in the mix. Always in it. Always doing it. Ox is on as well. Let's see. He agreed that Sifu ain't it right now. Too many mistakes from him. Edge has jumped on as well. I see a lot of quietness, a quiet vibe tonight. I think everybody, after seeing who's traveling up north, is a little bit apprehensive at the moment, going, what's going on? And we'll cover that too. But reactions were a little bit low tonight. I get it. I know y'all be back Thursday because that's our normal hour anyway. But yeah, if you guys have anything you want to throw in, please jump on. Give us the vibe. Tell us what's going down, and we'll go. We'll make it happen. Oh, that's an interesting one from Ox. I did see that. He says, thing I hate about Apple TV was how they tried to silence the 3252 on TV. I think Apple TV is definitely going for some Homer vibes in this thing, except when we play Carson, which that's hilarious. But there's definitely the vibe I'm getting is that they want to really feature and promote the home teams, especially San Jose being in a bigger stadium. I think they're rewarding them for actually opening up a stadium and trying to put on a show. I think that's why they did what they did. And yes, they did Mike D their chance. And put us in heaven. But what else would you expect, right? They put us in heaven because we are. I get it. All right. Thank you, Ox, for that, man. Let's move it on. We're gonna actually go right into community news. Tony, what have you got for us, sir?
We have a game tomorrow, so that means unless you are staying up there, up in the bay and going to the game, these are the 3 watch parties that have been out. Lucky's is not going to have a watch party, but most of them are going to be at Lucky Baldwin. So if you want to join them, that's where they'll be. The other one is Empire Boys will be at Rowdy's. Game time is at 7:30, 1002 6th Street A at Rancho Cucamonga. They're also accepting painting supplies and donations for Options House Shelter Project. So if you have any art supplies that you're not using, any donations, any paint supplies donations, bring it on that way if you go up there into Rancho Cucamonga. Black Army is going to be at Progressive.
Progress.
I did that on purpose. I know I did that on purpose. Progress Brewing Company, 9624 El Ponche Street, South El Monte, California, 91733. There will be the Bira food stand that we've had before, so I recommend the Bira soup that they have. Really good, keeps you warm, nice filling. And then expos are going to be at Disto Cartorce at 1837 East 1st Street, Los Angeles. Also, of course, 3252 membership. Highly recommend that you sign up for that. It gets you tickets to away days. Like everyone who just went up there was able to get a ticket, find out information how to get into that. It's $30. Helps for away days, tifos, paintings, drums, everything to help the supporter culture thrive, and also to help any to keep the numbers up for the supporters. So make sure you sign up. And the last but not least, remember to donate to the Mo Facio Futsal Court. Just go to lafc.com/mo-facio. Donate $1. Donate whatever you can, and let's get this court built, so we can have our supporter cup there one day.
Hoping and praying. Beautiful. I can't wait for the day. Let's go, people. Let's make it happen. So that is community news. Again, shout out to everybody who throws the information out there. If you want to have anything featured on our community news, please reach out to Tony or our Instagram page, especially Instagram page, because you know what Tony's doing on there. He's handling. So definitely jump on there, give him the heads up so he can feature what you guys are doing. Again, you don't have to be like the 6 old heads, like if you've got another group out there, say Pomona Casuals, you guys have something you want to promote, let us know. We'll promote. We just got to know what you're up to. So do not hesitate. All right, let's throw it over the LAFC2 update, which is now turning into the U.S. Open Cup update. Araceli, what is going on?
Well, there's really no new news since LAFC2 had a bye week this past weekend. However, they will be kicking off match week 8 with a midweek matchup at home in Fullerton. They will host St. Louis 2. It's a 7 p.m. Pacific time kickoff. If you cannot make the match, the game will be on Apple TV. One thing that I have noticed with LAFC2, and I'm not sure if other people have noticed it as well, but even when LAFC released the traveling photos, it seemed very LAFC2 heavy, in my opinion. There is a lot of youngins that could potentially appear tomorrow. Of course, with them is Eric Duenas, who has been with the first team for the last couple of weeks already. Nathan Ordaz, who's kind of, bounced back and forth between the first squad and the second squad. Noah Dollenmeyer, they signed him to a second short-term agreement. And new to the roster this time is going to be Christopher Jaime. So I'm very curious to see if any of them will get the start or any type of playing minutes.
Did I see a picture of Crisostomo going up there too?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, yeah. I don't know who's going to actually play against St. Louis City 2 at this point, because they're all heading up to Monterey Bay the night before.
You never know. We could actually see Academy kids get pulled up for that game.
Or maybe the Buick and Pokus of the world. I'm going to call them Buick from now on.
See, there's Seafood's game. It'll be Wednesday probably.
There you go. Work it out, man. Work it out. It's going to be interesting. I think you're onto something with the Academy kids. It sounds more like that, but really curious to see how the next 2 days pan out. And we'll get into that right away. Now, before we get into the football side of things, thank you, Araceli, for that. Keep us posted if you hear more. We'll keep throwing names out there. Going to be interesting. Now, what do we do next? That's right. It's a Black and Gold Vinyl Club Minute. Bam. You might have had one. I threw one up there. You want me to run with mine this time?
Yeah, go with yours.
All right. Mine's a little bit different. It ain't the norm, but let's make it happen. They're obviously heading up to Monterey. As you know, music festivals kind of have a historic presence in Monterey. So I decided to go way back to 1967. I know. The Monterey International Pop Festival kicked off there. Jimi Hendrix was featured there. Janis Joplin was there. Otis Redding had a huge influence on that concert. I mean, really, Hendrix and Redding were the major highlights. But honestly, if you're into the music of the 60s, especially rock, this was one heck of a festival. I mean, you name it, they were there. Definitely, there are some vinyl albums connected to it. When we talk about Vinyl Club Minute, there was one that covered the show itself, featuring on Hendrix and Redding. There's also live albums as well. But definitely look into the International Pop Festival of 1967 because it was absolutely epic. And yeah, it's name the names, right, for the top bands of the 60s. And there's a story. That's for sure. And so that's my choice, because if you know Monterey Bay, you know there's festivals have a good history there. So there's our Vinyl Club Minute. Congratulations. It's on. All right. I know why you're here. So let's just jump right into it. Tony?
Before we jump in, since we are facing a USL side, there's something we have to just info for what happened in Orange County. What the hell?
Yes.
In this league, like, especially with one of their players, I believe it's just in general, there was a racial slur said to another player who is openly gay, and that should not happen. I don't care who you are. I don't care. We should evolve. It's like this sport is evolving. We are not anywhere else in the world, and the US should learn to kind of accept this. It's like I can't. I'm just very upset about it when I heard about it. Shout outs to our friends in pod, our Orange County SC. I can't remember the pod. I think it's like more to it. They have Luke on from LAFC, also from Pride Republic, but this needs to stop. Let's cut in the bud, and should be fined and suspended for a good amount of time. That we can't have what just happened at Red Bulls happen here at the lower level as well, and not just be a slap on the wrist. This has to get shut down in general. Doesn't matter what has going on.
I gotta be honest. At what point are we going to suspend players for half a season, a full season? How it end contracts? When is it just going to be like cut ties? Be done with it. I mean, I think that's what it's going to take, right? It's always too light. We'll see what happens when this is all said and done. Tony, thank you for bringing it up, man, because it's just too much, too often. We just see this way too often. Bam, do you want to add anything in?
I want to add something in that it's going to sound really weird, but well done to the Orange County team. The statement they put out, they've suspended the player indefinitely until the investigation. That's something that, I don't know, some other clubs in the MLS should have done.
Yep.
Plain and simple. And also shout out to our brothers over there, Orange and Black Soccer Cast. For me, the statement Orange County put out was a statement that should have came out straight away from other teams earlier this year. Plain and simple. So I'm giving props to the Orange County Soccer Club for doing that. That is by far something that needed to get done, and it has get done very quickly. So to all the boys and girls down there, great work on nipping it in the butt, and just do the proper investigation and do what is needed with the findings of the investigation.
Yeah, courage required, and again, they've been quick with it. You're right, Bam. Aristotle, you want to add anything as well?
I won't be honest. I did see the statement on Twitter, but I did not understand what it was alluding to, because there was just so much going on this weekend. I know that's not an excuse, really, but after hearing what actually happened, obviously, I am disgusted that it did happen. But as Bam said, I do applaud the club for reacting quickly and putting out a statement almost immediately, and kind of setting the precedents that other clubs should be following. And I'll just leave it at that.
Well said. Well said. We know who hasn't done what they needed to do. Good on you guys. Thank you guys for bringing it up. Let's move into the Open Cup preview and talk about a team that's actually made a name for themselves in the last few weeks because of their performances. and that is looking the part. We'll say that. Definitely looking better than what LAFC 2 has been up to recently, and I'll allude to that. Now, Monterey Bay FC Union. I know, long term for a long name, but that is what it is. Most times you just go with Monterey Bay and move on from there. They've had a kind of an up and down season. I know right now they're sitting in 6th place, 3-4-2 record, I believe. Yeah, trying to find their way, kind of a 500 level club at this point. And yeah, they haven't been in the top flight for very long. Nice stadium, nice setup. Of course, the big one is them taking out San Jose in the Open Cup already. Good on them for doing that. We'll break that down a little further. Tony, how have they been faring the last 5 matches as well?
All right. So I'm just gonna call them the what is it? FCU.
It's called Monterey Bay. I think
Monterey
they do
Bay.
that too.
I know, because it's like the FC Union.
Yeah.
But I was like, then I think Bundesliga. And
Yeah,
so yeah, Monterey Bay. So Monterey Bay tied against Pittsburgh Riverhounds 2-2. They tied against Rio Canyon Valley FC Toros. Wow, these names are really long. And
yeah, they are.
They did beat the San Jose Earthquakes in the last round with a 1-0, and they won against Indy 11 and lost again and tied against Phoenix Rising FC.
So that's 5 games, no losses. Yes, there's a lot of ties, but 2 tough wins. Let's be honest. They beat San Jose and then they took out Indy 11 in Indy. That's a pretty big deal in that league to travel that far and to get a result. So they've been showing promise. They've been showing the ability to do what needs to be done. On our end, if you look at our form, of course, we have 2 wins in the last 5 matches. One against, soon to be bottom dwellers Galaxy. The other against the Philadelphia Unions in Champions League. Otherwise, it's been a little tough, and we are coming off our first loss. Tough thing to say, though. No matter what we look at for what we've been doing, we already heard the news from Araceli that an LAFC 2-esque squad is on the way. So you kind of have to throw it all out out of the window to talk about form at this point, because so many new faces are going to be in there. We can say, of course, good news with Dueñas and a couple others that have featured well, but it's going to need more, right? And so it's going to be a very, very interesting run. Now, Tony, who are the key players for Monterey Bay?
The key players is Alex Dixon, 9 games, 7 goals. Christian Volesky, 9 games, 4 goals. And the last one is Sam Glenn with 7 appearances and 2 goals. With the assist, it's Volesky with 3 assists, tied with Gleeden with 3 assists with 2 minor goals with 2 less games, and
Chase Boone.
Okay, I was like, didn't see the name, with 8 games and 2 assists.
So I know Volesky probably is the guy you want to really look out for. Again, 9 games, he's got 4 goals and 3 assists. That is nothing to laugh off. Mentioning him also, he's the one that did score against San Jose. So that is definitely going to be your target man to look for. Now, Bam, were you able to find anything regarding injuries or suspensions for this thing? It's not sounding like there's much.
No, I was able to find a little bit. They haven't updated their list, but for the last game against Pittsburgh, Chase Boone was out with concussion protocol. Okay. Sam Gleedle was out with a thigh. Hugh Roberts was out with a groin, and Novella Yosiki was out with illness. So I expect Chase Boone back and maybe Yosiki back with the concussion protocol and illness, but Gleedle and Roberts might be touch and go.
Which would be really bad news for them, because Roberts is one of the anchors of their defense. Yes, center back, he featured well against San Jose. If you look back 3 games in, it's a thing, right? When they play good defense, he happens to be one of those guys that stands up. When he's not there, they do concede goals. It is what it is. Now, looking at the lineup, Bam, they play a 4-2-3-1, correct?
They do, but also with the injuries going on in the last game, they subbed out Robinson in the 27th minute and subbed out Lara in the 38th minute, their left back and centre back. So they could be a little bit more hemorrhaging injuries down in the back line.
So that's 2 center backs possibly out for this game.
Yep.
Interesting. And again, these are starters that they're losing. These aren't like, they do shuffle the lineup a little bit, but it's not a good situation. And if you look at, again, the San Jose game, who featured? Valesky up top, Gleedle as your attacking midfielder with Martinez and Johnson as your outsides, Fair, Yoseki as your defensive mids with Green, Roberts, center backs, Donor, and Robinson. And you're mentioning Roberts is out and his backup Lara is possibly out, right?
Yeah, and Robertson is possibly out.
So that's their left.
Roberts, Robinson, Lara.
So their back line is really in trouble injury-wise.
By the looks of it, it could be, yes.
Okay. And then the best game to really give you an example of what happens with that kind of a shifted lineup would probably be their 2-2 tie, the last game they played. Of course, Valesky and Dixon did score in that game, but it looks like they gave up one basically 16th, 74th minute, and then the Valesky goal was an injury time, save the day kind of moment. So thoughts about it? Where do you see it going? Who do you think the possible 11 is going to be with all these injuries?
The only ones I can pretty much guarantee is Sihara in goal, Valesky and Dixon. They're the guarantees.
Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah, and honestly, up top, they seem fine.
Yeah.
Creative wise, they're good. Production's good. It's the back line and what we can do with it. But of course, if we're sending a modified lineup, it's going to be a challenge for our kids, to figure this out. This is a team that knows itself, that's played good so far, that's shown it. And for us, it's going to be a little bit different. I will say this also, when they played against San Jose, I know it's the big shock win. They took out San Jose. If you really watched the game, it was very much a back and forth. The only goal was a fluke. Let's be real. It was a ill-fated back pass. That's what it was. It was a complete flub play, and Valesky simply finished it. But it was a junk goal is what it was. It wasn't like they completely outplayed them. They did go back and forth. There were chances both ways, but real talk. I mean, it was basically a San Jose shutdown. They threw this one away. In the real world, that's what's going on. But San Jose did have an A- lineup, you could say. So most of their starters were in, and then as the game progressed, they brought in even more talent. So that's the truth of it. Again, I think the story won't be about them. We see what they can do. We see what's missing. We see how they perform. The question's going to be us and how are we going to feature. This is going to be probably the most ridiculously difficult lineup to call because we don't know who's going in total, even though they flew, but we have an idea because names have been dropping. I think Araceli, I'm going to throw this to you first because you've seen the names popping up all day today. What do you think it's going to look like in this lineup? Are we going to play the 4-3-3 or are they going to do something a little different like they do at LAFC 2?
Well, I was just doing that right now, looking up the past games that LAFC 2 has played, and a large majority of them are the 4-3-3 formation. There has been one or two matches where it looks like they've done a 1-4-1-4. Very weird formation, but again, it all depends on their players as well, because keep in mind, beginning of the season, they had Duenas, they had their typical starting roster, and already with players getting moved around, they've kind of had to readjust in some ways. So I think in terms of what we might see on the roster, I agree with you. It is going to be a little hard to predict because I don't want to sit here and say that they're all going to start. But knowing Dolo, I won't put it past him to see Duenas possibly get the start. Maybe excuse me. That one guy. Chris Domo, why is it it's sounding like a tongue twister here.
Crisostomo.
Crisostomo.
Thank you.
Yeah, as always. Yeah.
He could possibly get the start. Doenmeyer is a defender. Christopher Jaime is a center mid. So I'm really, it's almost like pulling straws, trying to figure out this lineup. I know Mahala did not travel. Our backup goalkeeper did travel. Djokovic.
Jakubovic.
Jakubovic. So you never know. We could even see him in goal.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's who you are going to see in goal. I don't think there's any question about it. That's who we're going to see in goal. I think you've called it. He needs minutes. This is a good time for him to play. You need experience with all these youngsters going out on the field. Crisostomo, of course, I expect him to play defensive mid. Why would he not? Right? That's what he does. Duenas, question to you. Where do you think Duenas is going to play at?
That's a tough one.
Right?
I mean, he's kind of a versatile player, so
I mean, if
I'd
they're
probably
gonna,
stick him in the mid.
yeah, I mean, if we're gonna play the 4-3-3, he's next to Crisostomo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Kristen Torres, do you think he's gonna get a start up top? It's sounding like it, right?
It sounds like it, but he could also be a sub.
Okay.
So
really tough. And the veterans has been pretty quiet, right, on who's actually made this trip.
As far as I can tell, it has been very quiet. As I've already mentioned, we know Mahala did not travel.
No.
So he's not one of them.
So I hope Yuke did. I really do. He needs a game like this. Really needs a game like this. So yeah, right now it's a little bit of mystery. We've got some smoke, but not the full measure. We'll know by morning. But yes, a modified lineup is guaranteed for this. I'm confident in Jakubovic to do the job. It's just my hope that we do pull this thing off with the modified lineup. Now, this does send a message, right, of priorities when it comes to us as LAFC, when it comes to this tournament and where we're seeing it. It's kind of like you could see some teams where, yeah, cups are nice when you get in the later rounds, then we'll care. And that might be where our heads are at right now. Bam, I'm going to throw this to you. Are you disappointed? Are you surprised? What are your thoughts with this modified lineup?
I'm slightly disappointed, yet I'm not. I'm not that surprised because of how deep we are in the CCL.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where our focus is more aimed at, which when you sit back and look at it, what would you rather? If you had a choice right now, you win the US Open Cup or you win the CCL. What do you want to win right now at this moment? I think it's fair to say we want the CCL.
Yeah.
The US Open Cup has eluded us, and it's a trophy that I do want us to win. But looking at where we are in the CCL, I'm a bit disappointed with who we've seen going up, but I'm not surprised with who's going up.
Right. And then I throw this to Tony because I know you're chomping at the bit on this one because you're probably the most bummed out of all of us when you saw the roster move. Fire away, man.
I want it all. I want both. I want all the cups. There's no like if I had to choose one. No, I choose all. There's no. We're a big club. We don't like. Yes, CCL is important, and I understand that the depth with MLS is hard to do because of the payroll, number of players you can have on a roster, et cetera, et cetera. LAFC 2, yes, the youngins do need time on the main roster. This is a perfect opportunity, but this is also a perfect opportunity to bring Sifu here. Bring Sifu so that way he gets more minutes, more playing time, more everything like that. I'm happy. It's no disrespect to the other team because we are putting a team together to beat them. But at the end of the day, I want it all. Champions League is coming up and Leon has a month off because they got knocked out of the playoffs in Mexico. But I'm not happy about this.
No. And here's my big concern. Araceli, how many wins do we have at LAFC 2 right now?
They're still winless.
Yeah, they're still winless. if you were to compare the USL Top Flight to LAFC2 or I should say MLS Next Pro, would you say they're on the level with each other, or is one probably a little bit higher?
I say right now, like, to me, it feels like it does vary. They're still figuring things out. Players are already getting moved around. I have seen moments from them, which is reassuring. But when you look at the stats, unfortunately, well, as I've already mentioned, they're still winless. And I was also looking up like Jaime's um, record along with Dolenmeyer's to see if I could pull anything from it. And unfortunately for both of them, neither has a goal nor an assist. The only one that kind of stands out is Dolenmeyer with 2 solid shots, and that's over the course of 7 games. So naturally, I want to be very optimistic that they will do well tomorrow, um, assuming they are going to see minutes, but it's going to be a toss-up, unfortunately.
Yeah, I do fear we're underestimating the opponent in this case. That's where my head is at. Is look, USL is not a pushover league. It's not, and I think if we put this side, our LAFC2 into USL, they wouldn't make the playoffs either. Real talk. It's hard to build a team. It is. This is basically an expansion side, and it would be treated as such against teams that are a little more established with each other. In the USL, a lot of these teams are a little bit older, a little bit wiser. Guys are still making careers out of that division. And with Monterey Bay, again, they're a 500 club, mid-table, but we're not mid-table USL right now. We're just not. And so if it is going to be this heavy and it's going to be dominated by our LAFC2 guys, I have concerns. I do hope that the potential ringers will be there, surprising us all to get the job done. Yes, ma'am.
Just having a bit of research, seeing what I've just found, I'm not surprised about some of the decisions now. Their pitch is AstroTurf.
It is. It is. It's not the greatest.
So are we going, these players aren't going due to possible injuries, and we don't want to risk those injuries?
I think you're on the right track with it. Again, safety is the story, and we know the guys are worn out. We totally get it. The timing couldn't be worse for us at this moment. Really, it couldn't be worse. And San Jose kind of exposed how tired they were, because they gave everything into that CCL match. That was the one. That was the performance required, and I think that big breath of relief came out. Right? Oh, we got through those dudes. We got through Philly, and you had this down hit when it comes to emotions, and the physical things start coming out because the adrenaline's gone. You got through that one. Adding to it, knowing that our opponent for the CCL is now going to be on ice for a month, nearly a month, I think might also affect things as well. Going, oh, we don't have to push as hard because they're not, they're going to all get to be fresh by the time we play them. They're going to be sitting, which is not the greatest thing in the world to be doing. But their A squads are going to be ready because they're going to be rested. And so we really need to also think about that as well if this is our big thing. Also keep in mind, for the CCL, if you win it, you're going to 2 Club World Cups, and one's going to be a monstrosity tournament, which puts us on a whole different profile if we get to go. So, yes, it's 3 weeks, but yeah, you can tell the minutes are limited because they're already thinking down that far. Dangerous, yes. Possibly essential. I think if we end up winning that whole thing, who cares about the US Open Cup? The gamble is there. So, yeah, I can throw back to you guys as well in a few minutes on what your thoughts are. Anybody else want to add in before I throw back to our supporters and see where their heads are at?
I'm just looking up. I'm on the Monterey Bay FC website at the moment, and they've got their how do you call it? A PDF version of the match guide.
Yeah,
that's actually really good detail. Really good detail in it. It goes into. It's got their starting lineup of every game. All time year by year against the Riverhounds and all that kind of stuff, how the squad was built, so where the players all came from. It's actually, and the fact that it's got on the website, I think something LAFC should look at doing as well, because it's actually really in depth and really good.
No, they're a well-run side. They really are. Really doing things the right way. Communication's been good with them as well. And so I do know there are some travelers, at least there were supposed to be some travelers. I don't know after today, but there are people heading up there, or they decided to stay up there to go make some noise after the last one. I mean, look at their stadium. Yes, it's turf, but everything around it looks pretty darn nice. And yes, I know it's on the university campus, but they're being run properly. It's good to see. It's what you want to see at that level. It looks like a team that could establish itself and survive by the way they operate. It's professional. It's good. It's a good thing. All right, I'm going to throw out some reactions. Everybody see where they're at on this thing. Let's go check some comments from our supporters and how they're feeling with this thing. David Day has his fight out hockey style. LL Trash Can says, can't wait for US Cup love from Rancho Cucamonga. There we go. IE represented yet again. Love it, love it, love it. David Day says LASC in CCL, LASC2 in USOC, LAFC summer version in Leagues Cup. I like it. Yeah, they're gonna be a hybrid team for Leagues Cup, I'm sure. Yeah, except they're now suggesting that to qualify for CCL, you have to perform in Leagues Cup. Bizarro. We'll get into that another day. But yeah, they did hear that. Ox says, I hope Sifu traveled for this one. He could use some training with the youngsters. Looks like we got Tony back in the mix. Welcome back, sir. Let's see. David Day, Cifuentes being sold in the summer. Cifuentes needs to step up to get sold in the summer. Yeah, he's got to do more. That's for sure. Edge says we're not black and fold. If you're putting in a pure LAFC2, it's throwing in the towel. I'm hoping we have a few senior players sprinkled in and some benchers. I mean, honestly, the pictures were a little bit limited for this one. So maybe there's a little bit of gamesmanship going on there. We'll see. We'll see. David Day, third string goalkeeper will start. I think probably gonna be Jakupovic. Figuring that, but the dude's a good player. We've seen him already out there for us. He's legit. He's legit. David Day says Leon games are the biggest games in LAFC and MLS history. US Open Cup is won by Wooden Spoon winners same year. Non-playoff teams in USOC won third of the time. Yeah, I remember DC making the big run last year, right? And that's kind of it's the NIT, right? You don't go to the big dance. This is your alternative to save your year. Orlando, I guess, won it last year, and yeah, it's the best they've ever done in anything. So there's that. Ox says, I agree with Tony on the aspect of wanting all the trophies, but if I had to really choose, I'd take the CCL over US Open Cup for sure. Yeah, I know we're there. And Edge also threw in Sifu didn't go, saw his IG with girlfriend driving in LA. There you go. So no Sifu in the show. Edge doing the investigations. Thank you for that, sir. So I know. Again, mystery lineup for the day. Mystery performance we're going to be all seeing. If you want to go yell, rant, scream, and rave, definitely do it at one of the watch parties. I guess they're going to go full tilt. All of the official bars for LAFC are going to be open for this one and showing the match, they're saying. So there's that too. Yeah. Thank you guys for the comments. All love to you guys for throwing it out there. I see David Day laughing too. So good on you guys. Dig it. Thank you guys. All right. So we're moving on forward. I will throw this to you, Bam, on final thoughts. We're already there. I know. Flew through this one.
Final thoughts for me is, again, conversations can save a life. Reach out to your friends. Yes, I'm sounding like a broken record, and I'll happily be a broken record on this every day of the week. It's okay not to be okay. We all have some down times where we're not feeling ourselves. We're feeling a little bit lonely, feeling upset. But reach out to someone. if you're feeling like that, other people feel like that too. So reach out to them, catch up for a coffee, go see a movie. Hell, just even game together. Like me and Tony, we game pretty much every second day at least, and we just veg out and have some fun together. There's little things like that that can make people go from being really down in the dumps to really happy, and it can make someone's day. So just reach out to your friends and just be a good person overall.
Key. That is the key. Be a good human. Essential in this world. That is the equivalent of staying golden right there. Thank you, Bam. Araceli, final thoughts.
Kind of continuing with that thought of being a good human. Whether if you're going to a watch party or if you are going to the LAFC2 game on Wednesday, as always, keep an eye on each other, protect each other, and just be kind. It's really not that hard.
And support them. Here's the deal. These are development players, so don't act like it's the end of the world as they make mistakes, because again, it's for development. So top flight side, yeah, I get it. You can be angry, but with the developmental side, treat it as such. Tony, final thoughts, sir.
Have fun tomorrow at all the watch parties. Drink responsibly, because you never know. I'd rather you continue seeing you guys moving forward at every game. Hopefully we can pull out a win and we can show that these players are just, for our developmental league, are not just getting bad breaks, and we can finally show what they can finally do. And not happy with Sifu not being at this game, I guess. And I know Opoku's not going, but Opoku has earned his spot. But this is a perfect opportune time to get some reps in. So, but at the end of the day, support, go full 90, and yeah.
There we go. All right, I'll throw my final thoughts in. First of all, RSL, we're coming for you. Very obvious. You're in trouble. We're all going to be rested for you. Ha. I will throw out to everybody. We will see you on Thursday. Definitely, we're going to pop on and we'll preview that show, because it's what we do. That's history. We always do our Thursday episode, so we'll be back for that one. To the rest of you guys, thank you for coming on a short notice Monday night. I know we came up with this preview quick, but we wanted to make sure we got you covered and to leave you hanging. So thank you for all you guys that stuck it out late night on a Monday. I know the Mondays are real. Good on all of you. For those that traveled this weekend, thank you. For those that keep traveling, keep doing it. You're making history. Continue doing that. I look forward to seeing you if I can get there to Leon, because we got to go make some history. So good on everyone with that. Bam, Tony, Araceli, thank you guys yet again for always providing the stellar analysis, amazing coverage of LAFC2, and just all around showing what it is to be, golden. So good on you. For the rest of you guys, you know how we call this show. Araceli, word of the day.
Stay golden.
Bam.
Stay golden.
Tony.
Stay golden, Los Angeles.
And from me to all of you, stay golden, Los Angeles.
Thank you for listening to the Heart of LAFC. Make sure to leave us a rating and review on iTunes or Stitcher. Shoulder to shoulder, the black and gold is taking over.